Hello and welcome to my channel all about accountancy, where we convert your accounting problems into solutions. I am your host Professor Tanmaypvttutor and welcome to my series Source Documents. Source Documents is a series in which I explain the meaning and uses of some of the source documents which are maintained by business organizations. I will also teach you how some of these source documents are prepared. Today's source document is a check. Check is the most common source document, and I am sure that almost every one of you must have at least heard about a check. Some of you must have also used and seen a check in real life. A check is an order given to the bank by an account holder to pay a certain amount of money from his account to the person whose name is specified on the check. Check is given to the account holders by the bank in order to make payments. The bank gives a checkbook which contains 10 or 20 or 25 or 50 pages if you are a saving bank account holder, and it contains 25 or 50 or 100 pages if you are a current account holder. A check is used for many purposes such as making payments, preparing demand drafts, withdrawing money, etc. But the main purpose of a check is to make payments from the bank account directly. Today we are going to look into 4 types of checks: a bearer check, an order check, a cross check, and an account payee check. First comes the bearer check. A bearer check is as good as cash. A check by default is a bearer check. In case of a bearer check, the money is issued by the bank to the person who is holding the check. It does not verify whether your name is written on the check or not. If you are the bearer, you have the entire right to receive the money from it. Hence, the bearer check is a risky check, because if your check gets lost and someone else finds it, that person has the right to get money from that check. If you want to endorse a bearer check, no signatures or any official transfer is required. A mere passing on of check is deemed as endorsement. Also, in case of a bearer check, the bank account of the receiver is not important because the bank pays the money in cash. Next comes an order check. An order check is a bit advanced than a bearer check. In case of an order check, the bank will pay the money to the person whose name is specified on the check only. Hence, in case of an order check, the bank will verify whether the person who is receiving the money and the person whose name is written on the check are the same or not. If you want to convert a bearer check into an order check, you have to strike off the words "or bearer" which are already mentioned on the check. In case of an order check, if you want to endorse your check, you will have to sign on the back side of the check. In case of order check, you have 2 options. Either you can receive the money in cash or you can transfer the money to your bank account. Whereas in case of a bearer check, you did not have the option of transferring it into the bank account. Next comes a crossed check. A check which has 2 slanting parallel lines on the top left corner of the check is called a crossed check. A crossed check can never be encashed. You have to compulsorily transfer the money to a bank account only. In case of endorsement, you have to sign on the back side of the cross check. In order to convert an order check into a cross check, you have to draw 2 parallel slanting lines on the top left corner of the check. And last but certainly not the least is the account payee check. An account payee check can neither be encashed nor be endorsed. The amount will strictly go into the bank account of the person whose name is mentioned on the check. In order to convert a cross check into an account payee check, you have to write the words account payee between the 2 slanting lines on the top left corner of the check. Now that we know what is a check and what are the different types of checks, let us see why do people prefer check over cash. First and foremost, check is much more safer than cash. Other than a bearer check, we can rest assured that the money paid will go in right hands. Next, if we make payments by check, an automatic record is created into our bank book. The bank maintains our account, which is reflected in the passbook. So whenever we make any fluctuations in our bank account, it is reflected in the passbook. So this record will act as a proof, as in where and when did you make the payments. Next, people prefer to use check when they want to make precise payment. For example, the amount is 1967. Then it is a bit tedious to collect the exact change and make the payments, and it is also tedious for the opposite party if we are not paying the change. So if you want to avoid handling the change and if you want to pay an exact amount which is not a round figure, check is much more preferable as compared to cash. These are some of the benefits. Now let us also move on to the limitations of check. First and foremost, a check is not favorable in case of emergencies. So if you want to make immediate payment, cash is preferred over check any time. Even if you are giving a bearer check or an order check, the person who is receiving the check has to go to the bank in order to encash it. So in case of emergencies, it is always preferable to use cash. In case of other check, it requires a time period of 3 days in order to clear that check. Hence, for immediate payment, we should avoid checks. Secondly, if the opposite party does not have a bank account, then you can either give a bearer check or cash is much more preferable. Next comes risk of dishonor or bouncing of check. Whenever the payer does not have sufficient balance in his bank account, the check gets dishonored, or in layman's language, the check bounces, which means that you will not receive the payment. Nextly, a check is valid only for a period of 3 months. So if the payee forgets to deposit the check into the bank or encash it within 3 months, the check stands void. Thus, a check has many such benefits and limitations. Now that we know almost everything about checks, let us move on to the last section of today's video, that is how to draw a check. So in order to draw a check, I am going to go in another frame and I am going to show you how to draw a check properly with precision. So let's go over there. Hi guys, today I am going to show you how to draw a check. Normally checks are of many types like this and this. But today I am going to show you the simplest method of drawing a check. So first and foremost, let us start with drawing the rectangular box for the check. So I am going to draw only 3 sides of a check. 1, 2, and 3. So I am not going to draw the bottom line, because if the name and the address of the bank is longer, you are going to need a longer box. So the first step is always to write the date. So I am going to write date and a line in front of it. So whatever date is mentioned, I am going to write in this line. Next, in the next line, I would write the words pay and a line. I'll stop over here and I would write the words or bearer. So if you remember, I had told you that a check is a bearer check by default. So the words or bearer are always printed on the check. So if you don't want it to be a bearer check, I will strike this off, but later. Now in the next line, I would write rupees and I would draw a long line. Normally, the figures in a check are a bit huge. And here I would draw a box and I would write rupees. Now this is a domestic check, that is an Indian check. So the words rupees and rupees is written over here. In this box you are supposed to write the rupees in figures, whereas in these lines you are supposed to write the rupees in words. And after writing the entire rupees, you are supposed to write the word only at the end. So just for assumption, I am taking the amount to be 9,325. So whenever I am writing the amount, I should also put this sign so that no one adds any figures in front of it. So in rupees, I would write 9,325 only. So by writing the word only, no one else can write anything in front of it. Now you cannot actually change how rupees is written in words, but figures can be manipulated. So it is always good to write the words only at the end and this sign at the end, so that no one adds anything in front of it. After this, I would write the account number and make a line in front of it. Now this space is for the account number. If your question gives you an account number, you are supposed to write a 15-digit number over here. Account number is normally 15-digit. And then there are two more lines for LF and initial, INTL. After this, I would write the name of the bank and address. On the right side, I would write SD and the name of account holder. Name of account holder. Whatever name. And the SD is his signature. You can never do like this is not allowed. You are not supposed to do anything like this. You are straight away going to write SD. That denotes the signature of the account holder. And this is the name of the account holder. Now my check is almost complete. So I am going to draw a line below this. So just excuse me. Make the lines like this. One line and the other line. Now this area is for some numbers. So first of all, I am going to write my check number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 6-digit check number, which is important in every check. And after that, I would write the bank code. That is it for a basic check. Now this is a bearer check by default. If I want to convert the bearer check into order check, I would strike off the words or bearer. Now this is an order check. If I want to convert the order check into a crossed check, I will have to draw two slanting parallel lines on the top left corner. So two slanting parallel lines on the top left corner. So over here. You could obviously make the band a bit bigger, but still you can just cross it like this. So this becomes a crossed check. If I want to convert a crossed check into an account payee check, I have to write the words account payee between these lines. This is an account payee check because the words or bearer have been striked off. The words account payee have been written, and there are two slanting parallel lines on the top left corner of the check. So that's how you draw a proper check. I hope you have understood today's video about checks. If you have, then please like and share my video, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video. I upload videos every Wednesday and Sunday. If you have any queries or suggestions, you can use the comment box down below. Till then, this is Professor Tanmay Kesarkar signing off. Good luck and take care.